Do you know how it feels when you're waiting for something? Maybe you're waiting for something to happen momentarily. Like when you're waiting for your turn to give your speech. Or when you're waiting for mine to begin. Sometimes you're waiting for something to happen in the short term, like 5 o'clock Friday. Or waiting for spring to arrive. Or maybe you're waiting for an end to this election season. And then there is that long-term waiting. The kind where the universe expands, although not in a good way. Maybe you're waiting for a law to be changed, or you're waiting for a solution to a serious health problem. We've heard of people who are waiting for organs, even being on a waiting list for an organ transplant. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, I want to tell you about the people who are waiting for bones. I've spent a lot of time recently in the waiting room at the Nebraska Orthopedic Hospital because a member of my family is getting ready for a total hip replacement. And let me tell you something. The good doctors at the Nebraska Orthopedic Hospital, they don't mess around. You don't just get a hip replacement, you get a total hip replacement. And you don't just get a knee replacement, you get a total knee replacement. These are not decisions that doctors take lightly, and the plans don't come together overnight. There's a lot of waiting involved. Waiting till you have enough sick leave for your recovery. Waiting for your doctor's schedule to be convenient. Waiting for appointments and approvals, insurance information, MRIs. Waiting for the stars to align. This is not an uncommon problem. The Mayo Clinic estimates that 7.2 million Americans are living with synthetic bones, joint implants. More of them are women than men due to osteoporosis. By the age of 80, about 16% of us, and that's about 1 or 2 people in this room, will have a new knee, a new hip, or both. Back in the waiting room, I hear the receptionist call out, "Janet, for Dr. Willis, Janet." Janet's sitting next to me. She's filling out a form on a plastic clipboard, a Big Pharma branded pen dangling from a lazy coil. We're sitting in blue checkerboard chairs that are intended to make people who are never comfortable. Blue chairs for miles and miles. Every 3 to 5 seats, there's a neatly ordered magazine rack boasting the latest issues of WebMD, AARP, Arthritis Today. And to give these patients patience, a couple of issues of Travel World and Golf Digest, to give them something to look forward to when they get their new bones. Every 30 seconds, my daydreams, as well as the footloose and fancy-free fantasies of everyone in this waiting room, are interrupted by the sing-song refrain of the receptionist. Let me check, sign here, initial there, any changes in insurance? And we wait. As more and more people arrive to fill the blue checkerboard chairs, some young, most old, all of them waiting for bones. Bones. Perhaps one of the most fundamental symbols of life. Did you ever notice that when you see a science classroom on TV, there's always that skeleton peeking at you from the corner? Even if the room looks to be for earth science or chemistry, there's always that plastic skeleton rattling on a metal frame. Bones is a symbol of life, I guess. But bones can also be the symbol of death. A creepy skeleton on Halloween. The skull and crossbones, a symbol of danger or poison. Bones as a symbol of death. Yet, our bones can outlive us. Our bones can even outlast our civilization, as any archaeologist can tell you. Did you know you're born with 270 bones in your body, but only 206 of them make it to adulthood with you? You have 26 bones in your foot alone, and 54 bones in your hand. There's even a bone at the base of your tongue. You literally can't say a word without your bones. And if I had an X-ray machine, I could see right through to your bones, right through to your essence, who and what you are underneath the surface. Janet, for Dr. Willis. Janet. Janet clutches her walker, which forms a protective cage around her body. The people here have come with wheelchairs, walkers, canes, and companions. They've come from Iowa and Omaha and across the state of Nebraska. They're waiting in pain for new bones. Bones lift us up and carry us forward. Bones can create new blood cells, both red and white. And although our bones seem like the most generic or anonymous part of us, our bones can identify us through our DNA. Where two or more bones come together, a joint is formed, like the opening and closing of a door. Joints provide for movement. In the case of the jaw, for nourishment and sustenance. In the case of the neck, for seeing in multiple directions. What happens when our joints stop working? We slow down. Some of us stop altogether. Janet knows this. And so does James. James, you need to see Dr. So-and-so for your hip and Dr. Such-and-such for your knee. Come here, even if your ankle hurts. Sign here, even if your wrist hurts. They're waiting for comfort and freedom. They're waiting to get their independence back. They're waiting for bones. Knee and hip replacements are some of the most common surgeries performed in this country. Orthopedic surgeons are busy. Janet Thompson for Dr. Sue Willis. Let's not keep the doctor waiting. Janet leans into her trusty walker and slowly, painstakingly, inches toward the voice at the counter. Just a minute. The doctor will have to wait for Janet now. Mr. Toastmaster?